We have just started our adventure in the Ultimate Glory Hunter Challenge. In the first episode, we took charge of FK Auda from Latvia. We guided them to a domestic double within 1.5 years and reached the quarterfinals of the Conference League. This episode, we are looking for our second job and see which league can we win this time around. We bagged the National C license before we left Latvia, which should drag attention from more reputable clubs. Of course, not those in Ligue 1, but a club from Serbia, for example, should definitely check us out. I thought we should wait until the season rounds up. I don't want to get involved in some random relegation, with Lokomotiv Plovdiv in Bulgaria, for example. But I'm very smart, so I applied there anyway. They said no. They said no to the Conference League quarter-finalist from Latvia. But there was a club in Albania, Skanderborg, who are second in the league. Their manager, Ivan Gvozdenovic, got an offer from Spartak Subotica in his country, and he took it. I thought it's a big chance for us, so I applied, and they weren't responding. So I applied to work for teams who met these two conditions. They weren't in an active relegation fight, and they were in the top tier. Botev Wraca in Bulgaria and Budućnost Podgorica in Montenegro filled those criteria. Podgorica said no, hiring Željko Petrovic instead. He has experience managing the likes of Boa Vista, Willem Tvei or Urawa Red Diamonds in Japan, so I don't really blame them. But piling up the pressure worked. Skanderborg offered us an interview. They just bottled their chance to play in Europe next season, which will help us focus solely on the league. Our interview was very smooth, so we just watch and wait for what's gonna happen. They signed Claudian Duro instead. You can tell right now that I am happy to go anywhere. New interview came around, and it was from Kaysar in Kazakhstan, who we played against in the Conference League while managing Auda. They probably want to know how I took a small Latvian team to the Conference League quarters, especially with them sitting in the relegation zone. Or not, because they don't think I have experience of getting away from relegations. Because I am here to win titles. The interview went nicely, but I had not one, but two Kazakh offers. The other one is from Elimay Semey, but their financial status does not really convince me, so they will become my second option in this country. And turns out, we probably know the direction. Both Kaysar and LMI gave us a job offer, but considering the difference in finances and both clubs being in a similar league position, I had a clear favorite. We're going to lift up a side that we knocked out of Europe. Kaysar Kızılorda is our next stop in the Ultimate Glory Hunter Challenge. But it looks like this will be an uphill battle. We have zero support from the players, there is severe lack of staff, wage budget is non-existent, and our star player is willing to move into a bigger club. What did I just dive into? And they also have financial troubles as well. First, I decided to clean up the wage budget, and there are chances to do just that. Our highest earner earns twice as much as the second highest earner. An average wage in our team is about 2 or 3k euros per week per player. Alibek Suleyman's wage? 16,000! This was way too huge to keep him, so of course I went out to transfer list him. Thankfully, the interest from various sides in Europe was huge, with most decisive teams being from Romania or Russia. But still, no side signed Alibek before our debut against the team we rejected, Elimay Semey. And it went exactly how you would expect. It was a game between two relegation candidates, but if there was a side with any advantage, it was us. Our star player seems to be Didar Jalmukan, who was creating the most dangerous chances, hitting the crossbar on one occasion. Sadly, no amount of footballs found the net, ending our debut with a result you would expect: 0-0. And it only encouraged more transfer activity from our side. One of them was a defensive midfielder Abdullaye Traore to Bosnian side Goshk Gabela for 180k. It was not enough to save our financial situation, but we are getting there. We can also save our finances by winning games and placing high in the table. Here's the tactic that will help us do it. We made slight changes compared to Auda, like moving to a 4-2-3-1, mainly due to the qualities this man has. Dmitry Borodin, who was transfer listed for some reason. Our second game in charge was against Tobol Kostanay, and it was a dramatic one. The first goal under our tenure was scored by someone who you might know from old FIFA packs, Imoch Ezekiel, who has played in the Belgian league. But on this day, the opponents had a man called Godberg Cooper, who scored a brace within 6 minutes. Thankfully, we have 11 players on the pitch, while Tobol have 1. This is why we scored 2 at the start of the second half, and the scorers were 2 different players. Also, Sekou Keita, who scored the third one and wants to move for a new challenge, will not, because nobody wants him. And despite Godber Cooper completing a hat-trick, our team as a whole showed up again. Imoch Ezekiel gave us an important winner after a nice play, a sign of good things to come. After this game, Orenburg agreed with us on a loan deal for Suleiman. It has a healthy optional fee, so I can tell you right now, we at least partially cleared our finances. We even got a replacement for this man on a deadline day, a Czech free agent Ondrej Bachop, who instantly jumped into our starting 11. To sign him, I also let go Miramadin Sabit to Real Union in the Spanish 3rd Division and Maxan Baurzan to SS Cosmos in San Marino for a loan. But this led to our results getting worse. We experienced a bunch of heartbreaks in the next couple of games. Against Kizlyar, we lost a draw in the 80th minute. Aktobe was too strong for us, and Turan Turkestan stole a late equalizer in stoppage time. 5 points in 5 games is too little to save Kaysar from the drop. And the next opponent was FC Astana, the biggest team in the country. And our play on the left side led to Dmitry Borodin giving us the lead. Astana players looked at it and decided to do the same, and was arguably more impressive, since the strike from Max Ebonk was from outside the penalty box. But then we had a highlights chase from the kickoff to end the first half. And we made a quick and glorious counter. Couple of quick passes gave us the lead at halftime, and Sekou Keita was the scorer. This only fired up Astana players though, whose winger Mehdi Torabi made a run to our penalty box and equalized. And when we thought no miracles would happen today, there was a mess in Astana's penalty box. The man who found himself the best was Semyon Yegorov, whose header found the net, and we celebrated it wildly. It could backfire on us when Ruan Oliveira was on a 1v1, but he thankfully missed, leading to a huge win and the founding match of ours in this club. But it was nowhere near guaranteeing survival, so we need to keep pushing. 3-1 wins over both Zetysu Taldy Korgan and title contenders Ordabas Shymkent was a huge deal, giving us a breathing space. Which would be useful when we again lost it late against Aksu and got dominated by Atirau. But our form was good enough to ensure survival with a 2-0 win over Yenis Astana. It was at the expense of Elimay Semey, the team who we rejected. So it turns out we made a good decision back in June. We still wanted to end the season on a high, so we went to Almaty to play against Kairat, who was fighting for the title. And I regret I wasn't recording this game live. We were leading 2-0 against the team that had to win to secure the league and was in great dominant style. The problem is, we made some trouble for ourselves when Luther Singh converted a penalty in the 73rd minute. Then, just 7 minutes later, Luther Singh did this. The draw still gave the title away to Aktobe, so Kairat players had to push, and push for the title. They did. In just 15 minutes, we let Kairat turn a terrifying loss to a league win. I mean, it wouldn't really matter from our perspective if they just beat us, because we are safe anyway, but it hurts when we could have gotten even more out of this year. We could be as high as 9th or even 8th, and we ended 11th. Good thing is, if I was in charge for the entire year and kept the points average, we would finish 6th, which is a solid platform to build on, especially considering the bottles we made. Our job is very simple next year: win the league or move to a club with a bigger chance to do so. The Astana job is open, but I cannot apply, because I told the board I will at least finish the season in Kaysar. So I guess we'll stick around. And we're instantly getting started. We have pretty much got done with the wage budget issues the second we let all of those players go. But you can already tell this will turn into a huge rebuild, especially since our squad is half empty. Board wouldn't help us much, and that's understandable with ongoing financial troubles. This is why we only signed 3 agents. Dozens of trials helped us decide to sign a playmaker Hassis Travels from Greece, South African striker and right back Tabi Somoniane, Senegalese central midfielder Alessi, and Luther James Wilden from Antigua and Barbuda. We also got Kirill Ofesian from Shakhtar Donetsk on loan, and our squad looked much better compared to last year. And in case you are wondering if we fixed our finances one bit, well, we did not. Alexei Butarevich, our backup defensive midfielder, seems not to know that and made a huge drama over his contract. We gave him one anyway, but it wouldn't help before the opener against Yenis Astana, also our 100th game in the management. And what also wouldn't help is that the first highlight of this season is us conceding a goal. We were getting doomed, as Yenis was creating more chances. And when we were the ones getting a chance to score anything, Thankfully, Goran Milojko equalized and gave us a draw on the opening day, and it's a good thing he did. What was next was 4 wins in a row. That included a 6-2 demolition of Atyrau. Unfortunately, this isn't Latvia, and the league is very competitive. This showed with losses over Maktrol and Astana, who first got a dubious penalty, and then Ronaldo Deaconu scored the tap-in. At least, we are involved in a championship fight from the very get-go, and we went on top of it after 3 wins. In a row, of course. And we stayed there after the first round of games, despite losing against Kairat Almaty and Tiran Turkestan. This title fight is going to be huge, with at least 5 teams in contention, all separated by a single point, and we are one of them. But first, the summer break, mainly because of the World Cup, which Belgium won on penalties, for those interested. The lack of money forced us to sell a couple more players. Ibrahim Adrame went on loan to Hungary, backup keeper Paul Itzo to Melbourne Victory, and Tokhtar to Shakhtar Karagandy. Elibek Suleiman knew since the day he returned, he wouldn't last long, with his wage and interest on him. He chose another loan, to Valur Reykjavik in Iceland, and on a deadline day, we let go Seku Keita to Universitatea Craiova in Romania, because otherwise, we might have needed to let him go for free after the season, and this way we at least got 150k. And the other reason was the squad wanted a backup keeper, who's going to be Abib Tapsoba. Atyrau looked at our sales and stole the winner in the 93rd minute. However, Yenis and Kezelier were huge wins. We also took a 2-0 lead over Axe, and when Zizi scored a second, I was confident enough about the result to simulate the final 30 minutes. Are you even real? And when we couldn't even convert a bunch of chances in a 0-0 draw against Tobol Kostanay, we lost control of the league. Our opponents took charge, and this is when it broke me. I noticed Astana sacked their manager, and thought it was a good chance to jump ships. I applied, hoping for a bigger chance to clinch the Kazakh league title, but the board quickly said no to my application. I guess we have to stay with Kaysar, and thankfully nobody in the club noticed my potential exit. And because Football Manager is full of logic and nothing weird happens here, the very next thing that happened was our 3-0 dismantling of Astana. We just rejected the team that rejected us, and retook the lead of the table. We also added a win against Maktrol, but Akiarek, another mid-table side, was not giving in. They even scored first, and all we could do was equalize. We then made a huge error in defensive positioning. Junior Kameni, who spent most of the year injured so far, inspired us to fight, and equalized again. The title was on the line. However, it came for nothing when Mikola Hajduczyk completed his brace. Only seemingly though. And Eugen Bakit Zakirov scored his first goal in senior football. And when we thought a draw was all we could get, in the stoppage time, Junior Kameni jumped highest for the header and gave us a huge victory. The title fight was truly on. And it would be perfect if we didn't lose to Oktober thanks to their penalty. With 4 matches to go, we only need to keep winning. And after another one of these, this time against Okietpes, and having a game in hand, it was clear we were the favorites. Only 3 games remain, and if we win it all, we'll get it all. And we want to get it now. The first game was against mid-table Tiran Turkestan, who play for nothing at this point. They only had 2 newgens in the team, and it showed during the game. Didar Jalmukan opened up the scoring 5 minutes in. We then got a penalty, and Dmitry Borodin had a huge chance to close the game. Well, at least this is doubled that lead. The third goal was scored by Zakirov with a curling effort, and Junior Kameni finished the job. We kept the lead, but Astana kept up the pace. Next up was Kairat Almaty, our nightmare. They already have a reputation. First they made a comeback against us to win the title, and in the cup, they knocked us out in the semi-final, despite the fact we took an early lead. But now, they're in a massive crisis. Last season's champions and cup winners barely escaped relegation. However, whenever there is a chance, they will try to scrap points from us. So we have to step up to get what we need. Ezekiel in the penalty area with a left-footed shot. He converts something, Hatzistravos. It's a pen! Since Borodin missed his last penalty against Turkestan, I decided to give this one to Zisis. And... Hatzistravos? No way! Again! Are you serious? We're in possession, that's a good job. Monty finds Imog Ezekiel, this is clear. And on the final match day, you have full control. Just get a draw and we're good. And I want to win, of course, but what a season. That was our game in hand, and winning it made us in full control of the title decider. The final game we're going to play is against Ordabasy, while Astana played Tobol Kostanay, who had European football at stake. Umarov now in our penalty area, and he had to score it. Corner in the 40th minute, from where we cannot see. Hatzistravos to Borodin. We still have possession. Ezekiel, fantastic volley. Dirholz. Good ball to Kameni. And that's a pen! But we cannot be hopeful because we've already missed 2 in 2 match days. We cannot make it third. Dirholz has to score it, and he can. He does. On the right, to Junior Kameni. Didar Jalmukan. Ezekiel, long shot! 3-1. Is it over? It's not yet a win, because we still have a corner. It's a 1-0 draw in Kostanay, and it's a win for us. And it's the second title of this save. Turns out we were receiving some sort of a plate, like in Germany, and that means we cooked. What a journey that was. From trying to escape relegation, giving up some easy wins, an inconsistent form throughout the season, a low point of trying to sneakily move to Astana, to overtaking them to the title win in the final matches. This was a roller coaster, and it ended in the best way possible. It's the second league completed, but it also means we automatically have to go. We won't wait for Champions League football, unfortunately. So the second we got our trophy confirmed in our profile, I decided to resign. However, this time it's October, and therefore there are plenty of jobs available. With a rise to our reputation and attributes, we have plenty of options. I guess we will not go to Liga again, but maybe something in Poland. However, you will only find out about our next stop in the next episode. If you don't want to miss it, hit the subscribe button with a notification. And a huge thank you for doing so. You can also check out how our journey started. Our first team was FK Auda, and the episode of our adventures there is available on your screen right now.